Welcome back, everyone. Apologies if you're here because of my stupid clickbait title and thumbnail. Just blame YouTube for that. That's what I have to do to get you guys to notice me. This video all started from an innocuous tweet sent by somebody replying to like Cozy Snap or something about that, talking about dwindling player bases. And predatory monetization models. And I know I've been critical of the game at times on this channel sometimes, but I wanted to dive into. I'm always fascinated by the numbers and to see like this person talked about dwindling player numbers. I was like, do they have actually anything to base this off? Is there anything to any numbers out there that we can actually see what's actually happening? So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole, to be honest with you, and I'd like you to join me on this rabbit hole. So the first thing I did was obviously search Marvel Snap player count. The best I could come up with when I googled that was two different websites, SteamDB and Steam Charts. Now, you're already saying, well, this is only the Steam players. Yes, you are correct. This is only the Steam players. So relevant pieces of information here. Obviously, Steam is going to be a small fraction of the actual player base, but the numbers to me are very interesting and the trends are very interesting. Now, we've obviously only had the game on PC clients since late October. If you look at the numbers themselves, and you can actually see down here, excuse me, it's probably the easiest place to look at it. If we look at the average number of players over the last couple of months, we had average of 6,095, average players 6,700. I believe this is like taken hourly to a certain degree. It's an ongoing analysis. Don't question the numbers. That's here. I'll leave links for all this down below. You can look at it yourself. We actually saw growth between October and November. We saw some growth between November and December. We've seen a small drop off in the last 30 days. I would say though that the last 30 days includes Christmas Eve through the New Year period. So I would say there's going to be a drop off in numbers there. The dwindling player base argument doesn't really hold water to me when it comes to Steam specifically. I also looked at this SteamDB page, which had some more interesting information that I thought was quite relevant. So again, you can look at the numbers. They slightly differ. You're looking at players 10,000, in around 10, 9.5, 10, 9.5, 10, 10. But what's interesting is the blue line on there is actually Twitch viewers. So you can see Twitch viewers. Now that makes sense. You know, the game is released new. We see Twitch view counts are quite high. Twitch viewers have remained quite stable, but again drop off coming into January 19th. You could read into that, but I think ultimately it just means that sorry, I've stepped out of my camera's focus. Ultimately, I think it means that like it's probably including numbers from Christmas period and things like that. Maybe less people were streaming it. I'm not 100% certain. The dwindling players argument, though, we'll come back to it again, I don't think hold any water. The only thing I would flag here is that we're not seeing growing numbers. There are not, now maybe like that 10,000 could be, 2,000 people leave, but 2,000 people join. It'll still say 10,000, but it's not growing as much as I thought it might do. It's not a desktop first game, so I'm not too worried. It's just interesting. The numbers are interesting. Now, next, the mobile numbers. Now this gets a little bit juicier. Let's have a look and see what I found. What I found led me to this page here, mobilegamer.biz. I could find no stats on, current or concurrent player numbers. Just couldn't find them. No, a Google search where I searched page after page, couldn't find numbers. But I found this article from mobilegamer.biz, and it talks about, and it's from the 3rd of January, so it's a little bit out of date, but I mean only by about 3 weeks, but it's good information. Marvel Snap clears $30 million in revenue, 14 million downloads. Now, it doesn't specify where they came from, but what I will say is where they got the information from is this site here, AppMagic Data, and it's this site here. To me, it's a analytics tool of, again, applications, searching applications. Now, it is paid for, so I didn't pay for it. It's like $240 starting at, billed annually. If there's a content creator out there that wants to dig into this more, feel free to go ahead. It looks like it's a decent tool. I had a brief watch of their sort of video. Now, you can see them, like, all the cool slides and everything going around, but I mean, it's definitely showing you deeper information, obviously, behind a paywall. So I kind of trust where their information is coming from. I would be interested to know behind that if there was a person that could open this up, AppMagic, on a video, for example, in Marvel Snap. Anybody out there who wants to pay some actual money. But back to the article. App Magic data sourced by mobilegamer.biz suggests Marvel Snap has earned an average of $392,000 per day. Wow, 392, and averaged 182,000 daily downloads since launch. Now, that might have been weighted at the other end back in October and has since declined. I'd love to see those numbers, but an average of 182 between over the last 3 months is significant. It's 14 million, as we talked about. It's again, this is further down the rabbit hole again. Its record revenue day to date was on December 6th when it earned $1.4 million in 24 hours, and I was like, what the hell happened on December 6th that like spiked? So follow me, dear viewer, to the Marvel Snap Twitter page, because I went back and was like, what happened on December 6th? We had the Power Cosmic video released, Join the Collector, Infinite, the cool one, Silver Surfer got revealed, things like that. And I was like, well, that wouldn't necessarily make people spend more money, a promise of something coming in the future. So I was like, what else happened? Oh, they talked about Marvel Snap and the Martin Garrix Juke song. Is it Juke? I don't know. I'm showing my age here. Is it Juke? I don't know how to pronounce JVKE, but I'm assuming it's Juke. Don't call me a boomer. I'm actually a millennial, but whatever. You can call me a boomer. It's like that. Still, the potential of getting a new song in the game, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be more money. But what else happened on December 6th was Molt tweeted out, how he loves Marvel Snap, and he got loads of viewers. So I was like, maybe it's Molt that caused all that money? And if so, Molt, and you're watching this, which you're not, but if you are, you might have earned Marvel Snap a lot of money. So feel free to reach out to them. And, is that a paid tweet? You didn't put #ad on the end of it, so I'm assuming nobody paid you for that. Maybe in the future you should actually ask them to do that, and get some of that $1.4 million you seem to be influencing. Now, this is all speculation on my behalf. There's no evidence to suggest Mold influenced all that money, but maybe. Anyway, back to the other stats and numbers that I found in this website. You look about the biggest markets. Obviously, the US is huge. South Korea and Japan being 2 and 3, Canada being 4, and France being 5. Wow, go the French. Good for you guys. Top markets by downloads, obviously US. Brazil number 2. A lot of Brazilian gamers watch my stuff. Love you guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Indonesia, France, and the UK. Oh, my apologies. I said at the beginning of this that 14 million I didn't know. I clearly didn't read the article in its fullest. It says 10 million were on Android devices and 4.2 million on iOS. Okay, interesting. The bigger spend is actually on Apple devices, as you'd expect. What do you mean, as I'd expect? With 17.5 million revenue on iPhone, iPad versus 13.1 on Android. That is crazy. Oh, I'm guessing it's because the vast majority of US users who are potentially the biggest spenders own Apple devices, because they are more expensive devices, and the US people tend to earn more money, blah blah blah. I think you see where I'm going this. I don't know. I don't want to get into like a socioeconomic video, but I think that all makes sense. This again, further down the rabbit hole. Welcome guys, you're now inside my brain. It says, as we've reported previously, some industry watchers have suggested Marvel Snap lacks the spend depth to make it to the very top bracket of games earning over $100 million annually. First of all, I have to be like, what the hell is spend depth? But the article that they're referencing is I already have it open, is a previous article from November 17th, where it talks about downloads, revenue, things like that. Again, they're using that App Magic website. Would love to get behind the scenes there. If somebody at App Magic wants to give me a free version, that would be great. Referencing that spend depth, it comes from a Connect Ventures game design veteran and deconstructor of fun podcast host. Ethan Levy also notes in his famous Aspect blog that Marvel Snap has a laid-back, player-friendly, and cosmetics-first monetization philosophy. He too notes that as a result, overall spend depth, there's that phrase again, is a little shallow in Marvel Snap compared to the very top grossing games earning over $100 million annually. This approach can work and is the monetization strategy that drives some of the world's biggest free-to-play successes. But if you are not willing to use the type of gacha-driven monetization I have used to great effect in past CCGs, you cannot achieve Fortnite-scale revenue without a Fortnite-scale user base. So he is actively saying If they want to make more money, they have to use gacha driven monetization. And the fact that he's bragging that he's used it to great effect in past CCGs, that to me makes me think, yeah, that guy seems lovely. He goes on to say Marvel Snap's monetization strategy is dependent on long-term retention because at present there is not that much for an individual to spend on per event, he adds. So he is actively criticizing, or I won't say criticizing, but he is critiquing Marvel Snap's monetization model. He says it is not good enough to make all the money in the world, which I think actually is kind of a good thing for a lot of us. People have talked about Marvel Snap being, predatory or, too much money or for whales, but it's not nearly as bad as other games. I know that's not an excuse, but what I'm saying is people who love to make money from these games are actively critiquing Marvel Snap's way of making money. Anyway, that's been my trip down the rabbit hole. I guess I didn't get the answers that I was looking for. Is Marvel Snap failing? Are the numbers dwindling? But what I think I did find is that it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Players like the game. There are issues with cards and monetization, as I think there will be in every game until the end of time. I'm not apologizing for it. I still think things should always be iterated on and improved and feedback taken on board. But I have confidence, and I've said this before, I have confidence that Second Dinner are listening, are learning, are watching. They are actively making choices based on our feedback. They've done it before in the past, and I'm very confident they'll do it in the future. I'll be hugely disappointed if they don't. But for now, I think it's safe to say the player base is not dwindling and Marvel Snap is not going anywhere. Apologies again for the clickbait title. If you've made it this far, please make sure you've hit that like button by now. I greatly appreciate it. Sub for more hot takes on Marvel Snap and some gameplay footage whenever I feel like making those. Alright, catch you in the next one. Bye.